Okay, well, back to Young. Okay, well, back to Jbpwave Chronicle. Okay, back to the meaning stream. What up, dude? Yes, yes, yes. Everything as it should be. Everything is as it should be. Everything is right with the world, by Jove. Praises be unto the Most High. It's a beautiful day to be alive here at the peak recorded human civilization. By Jove! Make some noise! Brothers and sisters, make some noise. It's a beautiful day. I knew it was going to be a beautiful day when I woke up and I said, hey, it's a beautiful day. I knew it was a special day. For the first time in how many days? Oh, there's that lucky train. For the first time in hundreds of days, I didn't wake up in the dark. I didn't plug my alarm thing in, and I slightly overslept by 22 minutes, which was just enough time for the sun to rise a bit and kiss my face. Normally I wake up in the dark, I get up and go to the MEANINGWAVE morning show. It gets bright around while I'm doing that in this studio room. I never see the sunrise. I felt a bit of sunrise this morning. I said, hey, it's going to be a beautiful day, I can tell. It's a special one. It's one of those special days. Can confirm, very special day. Can confirm, very, very special day. You know, I had a wonderful morning show. Ooh, that was crazy. Hey! I had a wonderful morning show this morning. It's a glorious morning show. Shouts out to everyone who was there. The morning shows have been really, really, really powerful lately. Really epic and joyful. Just like this new thing of just straight up getting up and going straight into peak vibes. No warming up, just like boom! Just straight in there, you know? Very joyful. What up, Israel? Israel Augustanza says, I feel so happy. Andy Burrows says, today was a good day. Well, yeah, I mean, just like Ice Cube said, shouts out to Ice Cube, didn't let me down. So many of my childhood heroes didn't let me down. People always go, oh, childhood heroes didn't let you down. Morrissey's still epic. John Lydon from the Sex Pistols remains a punk. Ice Cube is still a powerful individual. Ice Cube was my favorite rapper when I was like 11, you know? God bless. Hey, Prince Jabrika's XV, shouts out to you, baby. Appreciate the support. It's D&D night, so I can't stay, but I love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful night. God bless MAZ, and God bless Akira. Hey, I think he did. What about him? Says, I know it's going to be worthwhile. I think you're right. I think you're right. It's Monday, and you know what that means right now? Monday means we're doing Jbpwave Chronicle live. Leading up to the release of the new Jbpwave album, which I'm currently hard at work on. We're doing a set every week chronicling the Jbpwave legacy, you know, in a beautiful sort of storytelling fashion, with the aid of our chief archivist, Diverting Tales. Shouts out to him. He's scouring the archives and pulling up excellent results. We've got some epic archives, by Jove. Oh, we've got some epic archives, and we got an epic album underway. And isn't it just absolutely magical that as I begin, you know, I start work on this new Jbpwave album a week or so ago, a couple of weeks ago, and then it comes to my attention that the last song from the previous album is suddenly going viral on TikTok, and literally thousands and thousands of people are posting videos of themselves creating art to the Akira, the Don and Jordan B. Peterson song, Art. Very magical. And you know, so I'm working on this album, first Jordan B. Peterson album, since last year's Father. A whole year. The last one came out nearly a year ago, so it's going to be a year. Anyway, hard at work on this record, very wonderful record. Today, I'm working on the penultimate song, by Jove, if it isn't the greatest Jbpwave song yet. It's the ultimate Jbpwave song. Holy cow. Holy cow, it's crazy. And then what happens? Then all of a sudden I'm getting all these messages, and guess who's back? Guess who's back? Back again. Hey, what up, Alec Moran? God bless you, baby. God bless you, baby. Appreciate you. Thank you for the support. It says, just gonna get my dono out the way now. This is my favorite community. Much love and God bless you all. P.S. Ice Cube isn't ideologically possessed. Ice Cube isn't dumb. That's all. Ice Cube ain't dumb. You know, he did an architecture degree. Shouts out to Ice Cube. You know, Ice Cube takes the big picture and kind of always has. It's funny, people are like, "Hey, you punk! You're not going against you're going against what I believe now, so you're not punk anymore." Shut up. Anyway, never mind all that. Guess who's back? I got derailed. As I am creating this new Jordan B. Peterson album, as the last song from the previous album suddenly starts going viral on TikTok, the Doctor returns and posted his first video addressing the camera in his study, like those wonderful days of yore. First one back today. Boom! Boom! Just like that. Why? Because God is good. You know what I mean? Shouts out to the Most High. Shouts out to the Most High and the Most Wavy. Shouts out to the very, very waviest, you know? What? Make some noise. Make some noise, Patrick Smith. Make some noise, Paul Suda. Make some noise, Dylan Costa.
It's not a good solution.
Make some noise, Adam. Thank you for getting in there early. Thank you, Cindy Betty. What's up? What's up? Are the monoliths in already? Wow, yeah, monoliths have already shipped. Someone sent me a picture today of them with their happy monolith. They're so happy with their monolith. You see this thing in the middle? That's a Meaning Wave monolith. You can get one now at meaningwave.com. But that's beside the point. Yo! As we do this special broadcast, this JBP live broadcast, as we prepare this brilliant new Jbpwave album, and as the song from the previous album goes viral on TikTok, so the man doth return. For 'twas ordained and 'twas predicted. You won't be a phoenix, first you must burn, baby. Disco Inferno. I told you. Didn't I? Yes, I did. And if that ain't nice, I don't know what is. I guess we can look at this now because I've got these amazing new technical potentialities. You know, technical potentialities. Look at all this. Look, what we got here. That's the wrong thing. Look, 7,692 videos.
It's unbelievably worth it because it opens your eyes to the domain of
people creating art on a famous Chinese propaganda outlet, TikTok. So this guy's drawing strangers on the train. He's been posting a lot of videos, the strangers on the train guy. Look, that's got 386,000 views just in the past couple of days. That one. This one here is very popular. This one's got 384,000 views. Why isn't it playing? Why aren't you playing, mister? Ugh. Go away. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Nice.
Rise to the domain of the transcendence.
So if you're listening to this on the podcast, we're looking at videos on TikTok of people posting themselves creating art to Akira the Don and Jordan B. Peterson's art.
The sublime. You can see
this guy is destroying a rubber.
Yeah, that beauty is
very nice.
Way towards God.
Joshua Tran says that's just the likes, not the views. Oh, okay. Oh shit, you're right. Yeah.
The domain of the.
Oh yeah, that's 384,000 likes, not views. I suppose the views is probably higher, isn't it?
Into the transcendent. That's what it is.
You know, I don't really, I don't really spend a huge amount of time hanging out on a tickety talk. You know, tickety talk, you don't stop, because I'm busy doing all sorts of other things. What's this person done? She made a custom.
I'm aware I look like trash right now, but this lovely girl made me a keychain.
Oh, she got a keychain. That's nice. Hey, congratulations to you. She got a keychain. How about
Вот
this
нормальная
person?
техника импаста с обычным нанесением краски.
With 175,000 likes. It's very ridiculous.
Что у меня детская
She's
фактура.
got a painting. She's making a splodgy painting out of splodgy paint. Very nice.
Вот
Good for you.
нормальная техника импаста
Very nice,
с
Tinchik.
обычным...
This person, this is another splodgy paint.
But it's unbelievable.
Poppy, splodgy paint picture.
Opens your eyes to the domain
Yeah.
transcendent. That's the right way.
What up, Fede Vieira? 2, Vanessa. I'm with Vanessa, my girlfriend, since I was 16, now 28. Hey!
It's unbelievably worth it.
Unbelievably worth it. This person's painting tigers.
Worth it because it opens your eyes to the domain of the
The domain of the transcendent, brothers and sisters. That's what it's all about.
art is a window into the
Yeah.
transcendent. That's what it is. In the
This is
absence
good.
of
This one's good, Jessica Brennan, 70.
that integral to
Jessica Brennan, 70. She's drawing a nice bear.
beauty is one pathway towards.
Lovely speed paintings of bears. And is that a raccoon?
And if you can't find another pathway,
Raccoon.
use beauty. Sure,
Oh, and there's a guy with water in his hand.
because music is the one thing that modern people
Mushrooms.
can't
She
be
got
cynical
mushrooms
about.
in there.
Thank God for that.
Thank God for that.
And so we need to understand the role of art and literature and stop thinking of
Doing nice detailing.
it's not an
It's very cool.
It's not
Very
a-
cool. Just all these thousands of people out there posting pictures of themselves speed painting.
art alone.
There's a guy in the hand. He's got an umbrella.
We live by
Splash. Look at that.
we live by literature.
The wave. Very nice.
And
Very nice,
literally,
Jessica Brennan. That's lovely. This person is chopping eyelashes. That's creepy.
because
What?
it opens your eyes to the domain of the transcendent. That's
Someone is chopping eyelashes. I don't know if I agree with chopping eyelashes in general.
it
Don't know if that's wise.
to the domain of the transcendent.
Ooh, that was weird. Why are you chopping eyelashes?
Really,
To this song. That's so confusing.
because it opens your eyes to
Opens your eyes, I guess.
really
Here's a guy reacting to the video of someone doing that. Very strange. What's this person doing? See, I mean, frankly, we could sit here all day watching these because there's thousands of them.
to the domain.
Thousands of them. Oh, that's nice.
Right way of thinking about it. A real piece of art is a window into
This one's guy's doing sploogy things.
in the absence of
Ah, a little kitty.
what
There's a little kitty who likes the painting.
integral to our culture is the idea
The little
that
kitty is making the painting more splidgy. Ah, what a time to be alive.
and it's saying if you can't find
Man, this person's getting a haircut.
it, worth it because it opens your eyes to the domain of the transcendent. That's
This person is getting their hair bleached, I think.
art is a window into the transcendent. That's
Very
what
nice.
it is.
Anyway, so there you go. You know, the God works in mysterious ways by Jove.
Is the idea that
But the way I always look at it is this. You know, we asked for signs and signs were sent. The signs are everywhere if you care to look for them.
then why don't you use beauty?
You know, if you care to look for the signs are there. You know, and you will see them. If you look.
Unbelievably worth it because it
Oh, look, this guy's drawing Spider-Man.
the domain of the
Oh, that's a good drawing of Spider-Man.
thinking about a real piece of
He looks a little bit creepy, but it's very, very good. It's very photorealistic, and I really like the lighting. He's got the bisexual lighting on the face. Very nice.
because it opens your eyes to the domain of the transcendent.
Crazy stuff. We could look at that stuff all day, really, couldn't we? Yes, we could. But we shall not, because we've got an epic show today. We've got an epic set to do. We've got the Jbpwave Chronicle Part 2 to do. Of course we do, but like I always say, right? One of the keys to the hyperproductivity experiment is I do not stop, I do not question. You know, I go on instincts, I go very fast. And I just check for signs, you know, look to see if I'm on the right track. They're like signposts, and that's what synchronicities are. And frankly, I could not. I mean, could we have any more ridiculous synchronicities from, you know? Hey God, should I make a Jbpwave album this month? Yes, we will get. Well, just to let you know, you're going in the right direction here, Akira. Here's one of the songs from the last one going viral on TikTok. Here's the man himself coming back after a very long absence. Basically, the man has been away as long as Jbpwave albums have been away, which is interesting. He was here when I put out the last one, and then he was not about a week after it came out. And now he's back. Whoa! Life is beautiful, baby. Shouts out to everybody locked in. Make some noise for yourselves. And we'll have a quiet. Well, let's do the international high five before we get it cracking. International high five before we get it cracking. And here's a simple question today. Where are you today? Where is your body at, baby? Your soul is here with us in the MAZ, the MEANINGWAVE Autonomous Zone. And it's a beautiful place. We have a spaceship, obviously. You know, look out for that planet coming up behind us. Don't worry, it can't harm you. But yeah, where are you? The international angle. And how does the return of Dr. Jordan B. Peterson make you feel, baby? How's that make you feel? Hey, I forgot I could do this. More TikToks. Yeah.
A real piece of art is a window into the transcendent.
Real piece of art. Hey, we can read out international high fives while watching TikToks of this. That's nice, isn't it? What up, George Barrington says good. We got Phased in the house says good. We got Bismarck in the house says woo, I love you. That's a nice thing to say. George Barrington says JBP is back, and I'm back on Jbpwave. Awesome work, Akira. You are the real Don for making these. You are the real Don for being here, by Jove. Yo! Joshua Trans says Phoenix Reborn. YouTube Hero Alex says new JBP album coming very soon. Yes, it is, by Jove. I was working on the penultimate track just today. It's a big one. I've been working on it for a couple of days, actually. It's a big song. Big song. Anyway, Andrew Brennan says hello from Ireland. Hello to Ireland. Hello, Ireland. What a new rook says GA USA, Canada. D. Lars is in Canada. Next one of these. Sheila Ferreira is in Nashville. Transcendence. Shouts out to Nashville. My boy Theo Von moved there, didn't he? Shouts out to Nashville. I've got to come visit. Brian Broman, M.I. What's cracking, baby? How you doing? That guy needs to go away. Zachary Brooks, Michigan. Love it. George Barrington says good. My chat just ran away with me. I need to rewind on the chat. There we go. Robert Easley, Chicago, representing, and happy the good doctor is back, by Jove. I agree. This is a nice picture. Andrew Pullman says the art song makes me think of how Akira conveys the words of the speaker through his music and enhances the impact of their words. Akira the Don can see through the window of the transcendent. That's the view from my spaceship. You see that? Oh, look, this person got a nice tattoo. Very nice tattoo. Yeah, I like that. It's like a tiger vomiting the universe. We got Bismarck, Illinois, and Wavy. What's cracking? Justin Shafar, I'm nowhere in no time, but I'm so glad the doc is back. By Jove, as are we all. And so say we all. I think we can all agree on that one. Joshua Trans, Seattle, strengthened, baby. 2021 is coming. The neo psychedelic wholesome age. It's gonna be epic. New Rook. I had the biggest grin when I saw the good docs were uploaded. Life is good. Life is good. It is cool to have one. Members time, Virginia Beach, Virginia 757 checking in, and the return makes me feel happy because I just found him through you, so his return is perfect timing. That's crazy, Members time. Wow, Members time, who drives a forklift truck and sends us videos of him driving his forklift truck, listening to the Meaning stream, just discovered Jordan Peterson. What a time to be alive. That's a beautiful thing. Shouts out to you, baby. What up, Matt Carter? Says the lighting. Ooh, yeah, the lighting. Brandon, Shiftcliff, Texas, and Hopeful. Nice one. Shouts out to Texas. I'm there. Boo Muffin, Alvin, Texas. I'm in Texas too. Hi, Texan. I'm stoked for more lectures / talks. Super stoked to hear a different angle on the Bible. Yeah. That's the first thing he's doing, right? It's more Bible lecture. That's super good. And hey, now my system seems to be working. That means we can go back to live soundtracking the Bible lectures. Oh! Ow, I just punched myself in the face with the microphone. Hurrah! Ain Bees says it's wonderful to see JBP looking well again. Isn't it just? Isn't it just? Beautiful thing. This person is painting shoes to this song.
Is a window into the transcendent. That's what it is.
That's very nice looking shoe there. Very nice. D Humphrey 214 Meat Suit is in New Jersey. The return of JBP.
Main of the
Bliss. Phase. Dad number 2, Alan Watts. Dad number 3, Jordan Peterson. Lol. Balance. You see, that's what that is. That's balance in the force.
idea that
The force.
is one.
As when I do the voice like that, by the way, that's an impression of my old I can't even remember what lesson. He was a teacher. What was the lesson he did? I had to make a bicycle helmet in his class. He was called Mr. Dunt, which rhymed with his true nature, you know. And he used to say the force. Anyway, never mind that guy. D-Lars, nice to have him back. Was happy when I got the notification. Dan Hurd, what's up, baby? I've lost your message now. It just scrolled away from me very fast. Come back, messages. Come back, my beautiful messages. Oh boy, it's very difficult sometimes. Navigating, this person. It's so ridiculous. What is this person making, a cake? What is that, a cake? Anyway, Dan heard I'm walking for Ford in Louisville, Kentucky. Wow, that's epic. I didn't even know that still happened. That's so nice. Moon Muffin, what's up? Brian F says the world needs JBP. By Jove, it do. Chris, North Utah, seeing JBP back makes me feel excited. It's good to see him again. That's right. Case in Colorado, it kind of feels like this is JBP's third act. Well, indeed. Well, I don't know. Maybe he's got some more. How many acts do you get?
That's the right.
But you can't have the epic comeback in the third act if you don't have anything epic to come back from. And you can't be a phoenix without first burning. And also, shit. You know the vibes. You know the vibes. You have to go through stuff to be able to report back. What was that Rupert Spira song? I had to become like you so you could become like me. You know what I mean? That guy, the guy who was born with the full knowledge of his true nature as pure loving awareness, but had to force himself to forget. Because he's no use to people. Just knowing, he has to learn those lessons so he can then, tell them to others and be useful. Andre P says Akira is addicted to TikTok. Well, look, this is mermaids swimming to this song.
It opens your eyes to the domain of the transcendence.
Look, it's real mermaids. If you're listening on the podcast, it's two mermaids. Someone's caught them and they're keeping them in some kind of a jar. Some kind of a giant jar. Someone has basically trapped and enslaved these two poor innocent mermaids. And for some reason they're playing this song while showing this to the whole world with no fear of retribution or recompense. Very strange. Very strange. Anyway, what a regular father said, God bless me by giving me the juice to get my Ruth fixed, and then he blessed the world by giving us JVP again. God is feeling good today, right? Cindy Bailey at home, the return of JVP makes me so happy and so relieved and grateful. I was on benzos a few years ago, and thanks to MEANINGWAVE and JVP, I was able to leave them and stop having panic attacks. You should do a video about that, Cindy Bailey. You should do a video about your experience with that. I'm sure it'd be useful for people. Roman Dubzansky, Washington, D.C. and Maryland. Blessed, very happy about Jordan's return. He got me to dig deep and rediscover my essence. Yeah. JBP taking Tiki-Tok by Wave. Smoky Mittens blowing to Squashy and Kush. Shouts out to you, Matt Carter. Biological Bootloaders in the house. Cousin Kangaroos in the house. Stoked. D-Lars in the house. Dope Spaceship Akira. Thank you. Renzo, Akira, I've been listening to Jbpwaves while at work and I feel spiritual power. Yes. Mikhail Archangel, JP's art reaches out to everyone in the MAZ community. Yes. And beyond. Yes. Andrew McLean, Jordan is back. Yes. Kyla Sherrod's message just scrolled away from me. Oh. Florida. Grateful for his health and influence. Can't wait for his work on Proverbs. That's what he's about to do in it. Great day. Woo! Great day. Woo! Multiverse Media Space. That's the opus. Proverbs seems to fit nicely with Akira. Oh, life is good, baby. Life is good. Dum Dum News Channel. How's Dripping Springs, Texas treating these days? It's epic and beautiful, baby. Thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much for asking. Oh my goodness, Twitch chat is on screen. Oh, cool. I wish someone had told me earlier. Never mind. Thank you, Twitch hero Alex. I'll fix that in a minute. Let's do an international high five. We have so many people here today. And from all over the world. Richard Young's in Chicago. Says, yesterday my dad called me up to ask me if I knew anything about that George Pieces guy. Took me a second, but good news is that my father is now reading 12 rules. Booyah! Everything in its right place and everything in its right time. This person has drawn a mermaid. There's a mermaid theme. That looks like Trippy Red as a mermaid. Bit confusing.
But it's unbelievable.
Yo, Andrew Burris, this feels like it works.
It opens.
Justin Schaefer reminds me I need to clean my room. Yes, you do. Michael Keefe coming in from my camp in Alberta. It's King Cole. Shouts out to Alberta, Canada, all day long. All day long. Matt Carter says, why is she burning that guitar? Don't ask me. It's not. I didn't make the art. Ask these people on TikTok. Ask all these little TikTokers. Alan Moran, I'm so happy he's doing better. We all have our struggles and trials in life. Let he who has not sinned cast the first stone. Quite, baby, quite.
You can see that integral to our culture is the idea.
Yeah.
Beauty is one.
Hi, baby.
Towards God. And it's saying if you can't find another pathway, then why don't you use it?
Yeah. Let me get the right chat on screen. Let me get the right chat up, and then we can do an international high five. Then we can get after this epic DJ set by Jove. Yes. Let there be righteousness. Alright, with that in a minute. Alrighty. You know how we do across space and time if you're listening on the podcast. This is your time to shine just as much as it is for those who are here live. Because the International High Five works across space and time. And all you have to do is a high five, and then you'll get the energy of everyone else doing a high five at exactly the same time, which is thousands of people across space and time. Listening on the podcast, listening on the replay on YouTube, listening all over the shop, by Jove. It's a beautiful day to be alive, and it's a beautiful day for an International High Five. Let's get it. 3, 2, 1. Feels like it works. Feels like it works. We nailed it. Nailed it, baby. We got it cracking. It's a beautiful thing. How you doing, Members Time? Says I feel that energy enter my body every time we do that. Every time. It works. It feels like it works, you know? Feels like it works. Well, baby, without further ado, let's get after it, baby. Jbpwave Chronicle Part 2. Are you ready? MAC, are you ready? And then you'll know what to do next. Brothers and sisters, it is only right and proper that we do this on this most auspicious day of our Lord, October 19, 2020 AD. Make some noise for the good doctor, JBP.
There's this idea that Jung had, which I really love, which is the idea of the shadow, which is the dark side of humanity. Its roots reached all the way to hell. He meant something very specific by that. The metaphysical element was, he meant hell, literally and metaphysically, but he also meant that if you were able to understand your dark side, then you would see in yourself a reflection of the behavior that was present at Auschwitz, and that the reason that people don't take the dark side of themselves seriously at all, even confront the fact that it exists, is because no one wants to see that reflected within them. And no wonder. Pursue what's meaningful and you'll encounter that which you least want to encounter. And that's the dragon. The dragon is also something that lives inside you. It's not something that you take the encounter with lightly. See, I kind of knew this. When I had my kids, I'd already undergone that to some degree and understood what it meant to be a bad person, terrible person. And I knew that it was easy for people to hate their children, even though they mouth the words that they love them all the time. You don't want to set them up as an enemy against you. You don't want to allow them to engage in the kind of hierarchical challenge that makes you irritable and resentful. That's not a good idea. And if the things they do make you dislike them, the probability that they will make other people dislike them is extraordinarily high. You need to know what sort of monster you are if you're going to be a good parent. And if you think, oh, I'm not a monster, it's like, oh, yes, you are. You're just an unbelievably unconscious monster, and that's actually the worst kind. Your fundamental job as a parent, especially of a child from 0 to 4, is to make that child eminently desirable socially. You're a successful parent if, when your child is 4, all sorts of other children want to play with him or her. And so then you think, well, what have you done for your child? Well, you've opened up the entire world of children to them. So because they know how to play, everywhere they go, other kids like them and will include them in their play, and play is the way that children develop. The literature on this is crystal clear. If your child is an outcast at the age of 4, the probability that anything can be done about that is almost 0. No matter what you do. And then the other thing is, if you don't allow your children to engage in dislikable behavior, then adults will like them. And the thing is, if you're good to your kid in the real way, you can help them maintain that tremendous attractiveness that they have as young children. And then wherever they go, adults welcome them and teach them things and pat them on the head and smile at them genuinely instead of saying, oh my God, here comes that couple with that goddamn brat again. That's a horrible thing to do to a child. That's a horrible thing to do to a child. Because then everywhere they go, all the goodwill is false. And there's nothing that you can do to someone that's more terrible than to put them in a world where all the goodwill directed towards them is false.
MAC, make some noise! Hey, it's good to see you, Caroline. Hey.
I read this New Testament line
What's cracking, baby?
decades ago. I could never understand it. The line is, the meek shall inherit the earth. And I thought, there's something wrong with that line. It just doesn't make sense to me. Meek just doesn't seem to me to be a moral virtue. Meek is not a good translation. What it means is this: those who have swords and know how to use them, but keep them sheathed,
will inherit the world. Hey, will inherit the world.
those who have swords and know how to use them, but keep them sheathed,
Will inherit the world. Yeah!
that's a big difference. It's so great. You should be a monster. You should be a monster. You know, because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no. Wrong. You should be a monster. You should be a monster. Absolute monster. And then you learn how to control it. It's like, is there something wrong with being competitive? There's nothing wrong with it. There's something wrong with cheating. There's something wrong with being a tyrant. There's something wrong with winning unfairly. All of those things are bad. But you don't want people to win? What's the difference between trying to win and striving? You want to eradicate striving? One definition of a winner is someone who never let losing stop them. Never let losing stop them. Never let losing stop them. You should be a monster. You should be a monster. You should be a monster. It's a series of games. And the right ethic is to be the winner of the series of games. And part of that means, well, you don't have to be a good loser. You're not going to win every single game. You should be a monster. 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 You can pick your level of competition in life to some degree. So let's say you pick a level of competition where you're always winning. Well, all that means that you pick the wrong level of competition. Let's say you're a grandmaster chess player and all you do is play amateurs, and every night you go home and congratulate yourself on what a genius you are, because you just stomp these people left, right, and center. It's like, not a genius. You're dimwit. What you should be doing is playing people who are beating you like as much as you can tolerate. You want to be on the edge when your skills are being developed. Always take possibility.
Where loss is always a possibility. Alright. You should be a monster. You should be a monster. You should be a monster. Yeah. You should be a lobster. What? Hey. Make some noise. Yo, come on, baby.
Jbpwave Alive Chronicle 2. What up, though? Yo, this is about one of them fairy tales. Yeah, it did.
You know, in Sleeping Beauty goes to sleep, and the reason she goes to sleep is because she has parents who are quite old, and so they're pretty desperate to have a child, like so many people are now. And they only have one child, like so many people do now. They don't want anything to happen to this child, because like, hey, it's a miracle. And she's the princess. We're not letting anything around her. So they have a big christening party, and they invite everybody, but they don't invite Maleficent.
Oops.
And Maleficent is the terrible mother. She's nature, the thing that goes bump in the night.
Bump.
She's the devil herself, so to speak. She's everything that you don't want your child to encounter. So the king and queen say, well, we just want to invite her to the christening. It's like, good luck with that. That's an Oedipal story. The mother who devours her child by overprotecting him or her. Instead of being strengthened by an encounter with the terrible world, they're weakened by too much protection. And then when they're let out into the world, they cannot live. And that's the story of Sleeping Beauty. That's the story of Sleeping Beauty. That's the story of Sleeping Beauty. And they apologize to Maleficent when she first shows up. They say, well, you know, they have a bunch of half-witted excuses why they don't invite her. We forgot. It's like, I don't think so. You don't forget something like that. And she kind of makes that point. It's like the whole horror of life. You don't forget about that when you have a child. That's for sure. You might wish that it would stay at bay, but you do not forget about it. The question is, do you invite it to the party? And the answer is, it bloody well depends how unconscious you want your child to be. And if you want your child to be unconscious, well, you have the advantage that maybe they won't leave home, and so you can take advantage of them for the rest of your sad life instead of going off to find something to do for yourself. Of course, you can take revenge on them if they do have any impetus towards courage that you sacrificed yourself 30 years ago and want to stamp out as soon as you see it develop with your child. That's another thing that would be quite pleasant.
Be quite pleasant.
Be quite pleasant. That's another thing that would be quite pleasant.
Be quite pleasant. Be quite pleasant. Aye.
That's another thing that would be quite pleasant.
Aye.
Be quite pleasant.
Aye.
Be quite pleasant. So that's what happens in Sleeping Beauty. That's the story of 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 Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, well, none of this is pleasant.
pleasant, and nothing that happens in that story is pleasant. So Sleeping Beauty, she's naive as hell. They put her out in the forest and have her raised by these goody two-shoes fairies. And then the first idiot prince that wanders by, she falls in love with so badly that she has post-traumatic stress disorder when he rides off on his horse. That's what happens. Then she goes into the castle and she's all freaked out because she met the love of her life like 5 minutes. That's when the spinning wheel, that's the wheel of fate, pops up and she pricks her finger. They try to get rid of all the spinning wheels. They try to get rid of all the wheels of fate with their pointed end. She finds it, pricks her finger, falls down unconscious. Well, she wants to be unconscious, and no bloody wonder. She was protected her whole life. She's so damn naive that her first love affair just about kills her. She wants to go to sleep and never wake up. Never wake up. Never wake up. She wants to go to sleep and never wake up. And so that's exactly what happens. And then she has to wait for the prince to come and rescue her. You think, how sexist can you get? That's a boneheaded way of looking at the story, because the prince isn't just a man who's coming to rescue the woman. The prince also represents the woman's own consciousness. That's the story of Sleeping Beauty. 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 Without that forward-going, courageous consciousness, a woman herself will drift into unconsciousness and terror. All she can do is lay there and sleep, like the sleep of the naive and damned. She has to wake herself up, bring her own consciousness, her own masculine consciousness into the forefront so that she can survive in the world. Unless the woman is taken out of man, so to speak, then she isn't a human being. She's just a creature, and that's partly what's embedded in this story. So you don't want to read it as a patriarchal, you don't want to read anything that way.
That was the story of Sleeping Beauty.
Akira.
And this is the story of the agreeable and the conscientious. He went into a bar.
I've had situations in my lab where I had underperforming graduate students.
Yeah. What up, Pence?
That was really awful about
Hype that the good doctor is back.
the high-performing graduate
Yeah.
students, you know, because they felt that
Yeah.
even being in the same category.
Mikhail Arcangel in the midst of a pandemic, and JBP coming back, as Gary said, is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind.
Right, and so this is also why there's a conscientiousness trait and an agreeableness. I've had situations in my lab.
What? Rewind.
Graduate students, and one of the things that was really awful about it is that it was really hard on the high-performing graduate students, you know, because they felt that being in the same category as the people who weren't working hard and pulling their weight devalued what they were doing. You know, and that's exactly right. And so this is also why there's a conscientiousness trait and an agreeableness trait. Because conscientious people judge you on your accomplishments, right? They don't give a damn about your feelings. Not a bit. It's like, are you doing the work or not? Whereas agreeable people think, well, you know, your mother's sick and you've got a bunch of family problems and we all have to take care of each other, and it's no wonder that you're having a rough time. Like, you can't say that one of those attitudes is correct and the other isn't correct. You can't say that. There wouldn't be those two dimensions if there wasn't something correct about both of them. But you can certainly point out that often they conflict. So the demand for inclusiveness and unity and care, and the demand for high-level performance in a hierarchical structure, there's very different orientations in the world. And so it's complicated for people who are agreeable and conscientious. 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 One of the things that happens very often in psychotherapy, you know, people come to psychotherapy for multiple reasons, but one of them is they often come because they're too agreeable. And so what they get is so-called assertiveness training, although it's not exactly assertiveness that's being trained. What it is the ability to learn how to negotiate on your own behalf. And one of the things I tell agreeable people, especially if they're conscientious, is say what you think. Tell the truth about what you think. There's many things you think that you think are nasty and harsh. And they probably are nasty and harsh, but they're also probably true. And you need to bring those up to the forefront and deliver the message. And it's not straightforward at all, because agreeable people do not like conflict. smooth the water. It takes a lot of conflict to solve problems in the short term. That can spiral up to where it's dangerous, which it can if it gets uncontrolled. It might be safer in the short term to keep the water smooth and to not delve into those situations where conflict emerges. The problem with that is it's not a very good medium to long-term strategy. So lots of times there are things you have to talk about because they're not going to go away. Agreeable and conscientious. Agreeable and conscientious. Agreeable and conscientious. Agreeable and conscientious.
Aye.
Agreeable and conscientious. Agreeable and conscientious.
Aye.
Agreeable and conscientious.
Aye.
Agreeable and conscientious.
What up, yo? Agreeable and
And
conscientious.
so partly what you do with agreeable people is you get them to figure out, and they have a hard time with this too. If you ask a disagreeable person what he wants, say, or she wants, they'll tell you right away. They know. It's like, this is what I want, and this is how I'm going to get it. But agreeable people, especially if they're really agreeable, are so agreeable that they often don't even know what they want. Because they're so accustomed to living for other people and to finding out what other people want and to try to make them comfortable and so forth, that it's harder for them to find a sense of their own desires as they move through life. Agreeable and conscientious. Agreeable and conscientious.
Aye.
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 Agreeable and conscientious.
Aye. Agreeable and conscientious. Aye. MAC, make some noise by Joe. What up, H. Harlan says agreeable and conscientious is one of the best. One of the best. One of the very best. The best around. I believe there's 64 Jbpwave songs on Spotify. There's about to be another like 20 or something. Yeah, the roots. And some of them are by far the best yet. And maybe they all are, it's hard to tell. But I'm really excited, baby. Oh yeah, it's amazing. Now, some of you may remember, I don't know, some of you, like Young Members Time, just... Case just got a message deleted by the Google moderator team. They just snuck in here deleting some messages. You gotta watch out for them sneaky spiders. Speaking of which, some of you may recall when JBP first stepped on the international scene and was first seen. And he was said to be making a scene. But that's because he saw something that he found obscene and terribly dangerous. Having been someone who'd studied for like 40 years or something, how it is that people manage to do the most evil things on earth. Turns out that, there's certain telltale signs. And he saw some of these telltale signs in our society and he said, hey, yo, yikes, major league yikes. I spy with my little eyes some telltale terrifying signs of things that could march us right into the jaws of hell by Jove. And people said, pish and silliness, what are you talking about? That's just going on college campuses. That's got nothing to do with the real world. Well, I think we can all agree that in 2020, that which in 2016-17 they said, oh, that's just college campuses, that is very much in the world by Jove. That is very much bloody everywhere by Jove. And this song that I'm about to play now is more powerful and prescient and very much descriptive of the world now than it was when it was initially written some 100-odd years ago by Jove. Bringing to the stage Dr. Jordan B. Peterson and Friedrich Nietzsche.
Akira.
Make some noise!
This is from Friedrich Nietzsche.
Yo!
Now, of course, you probably know that he was the philosopher who announced the death of God. What he meant by that was that the fundamental metaphysics that underlie Western culture had lost their foundation. And that the consequence of that would be the disintegration of the idea of value itself. Especially of value hierarchies. He thought of the inevitable consequence of that, or one of the inevitable consequences of that, a dramatic move towards a doctrine of radical equality. See, because if value itself is destroyed, that value distinction between things so that one thing is not any better than another, then there's no reason for hierarchies of virtue or of value. And so the equality doctrine is a logical outcome. So here's what he wrote about that. Behold, this is the hole of the tarantula. Do you want to see the tarantula itself? Here hangs its web. Touch it so that it trembles. There it comes willingly. Welcome, tarantula. Your triangle and symbol sits black
On your back!
And I also know what sits in your soul. Revenge sits in your soul. Wherever you bite, black scabs grow. Your poison makes the soul whirl with revenge. Thus I speak to you in a parable. You who make souls grow. You preachers of equality. To me you are tarantulas and secretly vengeful. But I shall bring your secrets to light. Therefore I laugh in your faces. My laughter of the heights. Therefore I tear at your webs, that your rage may lure you out of your long holes, and your revenge may leap out from behind your word. Justice. For that man be delivered from revenge. That is for me the bridge to the highest hope, and a rainbow after long storms. The tarantulas, of course, would have it otherwise. What justice means to us is precisely that the world be filled with the stories of our revenge. Thus they speak to each other. We shall wreak vengeance and abuse on all whose equals we are not. Thus do the tarantula hearts vow. And will to equality shall henceforth be the name for virtue. And against all that has power, we want to raise our clamor. You preachers of equality. The tyrannomania of impotence clamors thus out of you for equality. Your most secret ambitions to be tyrants thus shout themselves in words of virtue. Aggrieved conceit, repressed envy, perhaps the conceited envy of your fathers, erupt from you as a flame, and as the frenzy of revenge. What was silent in the Father speaks in the Son. And I often found the Son, the unveiled secret of the Father. They are like enthusiasts, but it is not the heart that fires them, but revenge. And when they become elegant and cold, not the spirit, but envy, that makes them elegant and cold. Their jealousy leads them even on the paths of thinkers, and this is a sign of their jealousy. They always go too far. So their weariness must in the end lie down to sleep in the snow.
Tarantulas. 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 Tarantulas.
Out of every one of their complaints sounds revenge. In their praise there is always a sting. powerful. They are people of a low sort and stock. The hangman and the bloodhound. 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 Look out at their faces. Mistrust all who talk much of their justice. Verily, their souls lack more than honey. And when they call themselves the good and the just, do not forget that they would be Pharisees, if only they had power. My friends, I do not want to be mixed up and confused with others. Some preach my doctrine of life and are at the same time preachers of equality. And tarantulas, although they are sitting in their holes, these poisonous spiders, with their backs turned on life, they speak in favor of life, but only because they wish to hurt. They wish to hurt those who now have power, for among those, the preaching of death is still most at home. If it were otherwise, the tarantulas would teach otherwise. They themselves were once the foremost slanderers of the world, and murderers.
Heretics suck. Heretics suck.
I do not wish to be mixed up and confused with these preachers of equality.
Make some noise, brothers and sisters. We're Tarantulas. That's a record that came out it came out now. It came out just by now, Halloween 2018, I believe. It came out Halloween 2018, 2 years ago. Even then, people were like, oh, that's ridiculous. Oh, that's going over the top. Oh, that's a bit much. And here we are. And of course that was written, the words for that were written by Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche, I don't know. 1883. It actually was published in 1883. Maybe he wrote it earlier. But do you understand? That's some old bars. That's some old bars. And they so real today, baby. They so real today. And that's a good thing to know.
Well, there's plenty of things to criticize about being.
That's right.
It's tragic, and there's malevolence. That's basically the issue. And you can complain about that, but the thing is, if you complain about that, if you adopt that attitude, which is sort of an anti-being attitude, you go places that if you knew you were going, you probably wouldn't want to go. It's the places where, like, the kids that shot up Columbine went. Those are bad places. If you read the writings of the Columbine high school kids, and you really read them, if they don't make the hair stand up in the back of your neck, you are not paying attention. And one kid wrote things, I cannot believe that people could write. And I've exposed myself to a lot of crazy things that people have done and said. You just can't understand it. It's uncanny, you know. Well, that's where you end up if you get bitter. It's like, well, what can you do about that? Well, the world is harsh. It's like, should you criticize it? Not until you put yourself together. You got to bring everything you can to bear on the problem before you have any right to stand in judgment about being itself. And that's what these mass murderers do. That's what they're doing. That's what they're acting out. They're saying, well, I'm looking out in the world. I don't like people. They're full of flaws. They act badly. They're a cancer on the face of the planet. It'd be better if they didn't exist at all. I don't like being. It's too full of suffering and evil. I'm the judge of this. I'm gonna make my goddamn case. I'm gonna take them out. And then it's more than that. It's like I'm gonna take them out and I'm gonna do it with the innocents first. Because that's the thing you gotta hit about the mass murderer types. They're not hunting down the guilty. That's too obvious. They're hunting down the innocent. That's the best protest. Think about it. Well, I don't want to think about it. Well, that's for sure. You bloody well don't want to think about it. But you better think about it. That's where you go when you take that criticism of being approach. It's like you don't get to do that unless you want to end up there. It's bad. So what do you do instead? Stop doing stupid things. Stop lying. Stop making things worse. Stop making yourself weak. Even in a day, you'll see that you have choices in front of you, and sometimes you don't know what to do. It's okay, you're ignorant. Maybe you make a mistake. Whatever. That's just ignorance. Malevolence is when you know what you shouldn't do, and you do it anyways. People do that all the time. And that's arrogance. That's, I'll get away with it. It's deceit, because you're lying to yourself about whether you should do this or not. You know you shouldn't. And then it's resentment because, well, it's like, I'm going to do this bad thing because that'll teach the people, that'll teach God to treat me this way. That's the terrible trinity. Deceit, arrogance, resentment. Chase those out of your life.
MAC, make some noise! All them wave emotions right now! It's Jbpwave Chronicle Part 2. Hey, God bless Michael Robards, appreciate you, baby. Bless up Oddman Gaming, appreciate you, baby. Says love this jam, thanks Akira, thank you, appreciate you, baby. Shouts out to everybody locked in live and everyone listening across space and time. Check out the official Jbpwave playlist on Spotify, by the way. We updated that thing. The whole thing now works as a sequential story. From start to end. Very epic, very beautiful. This is a hard record. But it's been useful thus far, and by God's grace may it continue to be so.
Okay, well, this is very serious, and I don't know if I should address it because I'm somewhat tired, but I'll give it a shot because it's important. Now, it's very serious and troublesome question. I plan on taking my own life very soon. Why shouldn't I? Well, I'm going to assume this isn't a casual question, that's being put out for the purposes of display. Well, the first thing I would say is you have to think very carefully through the consequences of that for other people. So I've had clients in my clinical practice who never recovered from the suicide of a family member. Decades later, they're still torturing themselves about it. And so that's what you leave behind. Maybe you're feeling life has been twisted against you and that people deserve to suffer for the misery that they impose upon you. But I would say, think very, very carefully before you go down that route.
know it's a terrible thing to leave people with. Part of the reason that suicide has been illegal in most societies is because it absolutely devastates the people you leave behind. And you might think, well, those people would be better off without me. And if you get really depressed, you can think that way, and you can even get to the point where you can't think any other way than that. If you're at the point where you can't think any other way than that, then you should tell someone and you should go to the hospital. Because that can happen, you know, it can happen if you get depressed. There are treatments for depression, you know, and many of them work for some people. They certainly beat the hell out of suicide. Even if they have some negative side effects, and sometimes they do, quite frequently they do, the negative side effects aren't fatal. I mean, there's lots of reasons that people get depressed that are very, very complex. Don't give up hope and do something final before you've explored all possible options. And if you haven't talked to a psychologist, you haven't talked to a psychiatrist, you haven't tried antidepressants, you haven't revealed to your family or people that care for you that this is how you're feeling, then you owe it to yourself and them to explore every possible avenue before you take such a step. That's the other thing, you know, you have intrinsic value, and you can't just cancel it and to an end. You leave a hole in the fabric of being itself. A wise man that I once worked with said, you can always commit suicide tomorrow. You only get to decide that once, and you can put it off. So I would say just put it off, and then put it off some more, and see what you can do to put yourself together. If you're so hopeless that you have a suicidal plan, tell someone for God's sake, tell them, or go to the hospital and tell them. And for sure, try antidepressants. But what the hell do you have to lose? Do everything you possibly can to address the issue before you do something like that. And do give some thought to the people that you're going to leave behind. Because believe me, you may just absolutely wipe them out in a way that they will never recover from it. You cannot face someone's suicide. You're stuck with it. You torture yourself for the rest of your life. If I would have only known, if I would have only said something different. Don't do it. Don't be so sure that your life is yours to take. You don't own yourself the way that you own an object. You have a moral obligation to yourself as a locus of divine value. You can't treat that chasm. It's wrong. So those are the reasons. Explore everything you can explore to put yourself back on your feet. All the things. There's all sorts of treatments for depression. Don't leave the people around you with that to suffer from for the rest of their lives. Don't underestimate your value in the world. Don't do it. Don't underestimate the fact that suicide is wrong. Don't do it. Those are 4 reasons why you shouldn't end your life soon. Don't do it. 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 Work with and said, you can always commit suicide tomorrow. You only get to decide that once, and you can put it off. So I would say just put it off. Don't do it. Put it off. Don't do it. Put it off. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
MAC, make some noise. Shouts out to everybody locked in. Shouts out to everybody that didn't do it. I know a bunch of you might have wanted to at some point. I understand that. I have been there. We have probably, most of us, been there in some shape or form. At some point. Life ain't easy, baby. But it's worth it. It's beautiful. And it is worth being here for. And, you know, we're just at the dawn. We're just at the very beginning of a very, very beautiful period in human history. And I feel really, really lucky to be here with you guys. To get to be here and be a part of it, to witness it, to be involved in it, to participate in it, to participate in the creation of it, you know? That's epic. Shouts out to you. What up, dude?
I've listened carefully to your Cain and Abel lecture.
Appreciate you, Alec Moran.
For existence itself.
Appreciate you, Fred Cat. God bless, baby.
Me that revels in riding these waves. But can I
Jordan Peterson has indeed returned home.
God, you guys.
Please do show your support in the comment section of that video.
For existence itself.
Yeah!
Coming.
Aye.
Waves of consent
for existence itself keep coming. There's a part of me that rebels in riding these waves. But can I hide it's never good. Waves of contempt for existence itself keeps coming. Aye.
It's probably time for a little bit of individual psychoanalysis. You're generalizing, you know, you say waves of contempt for existence itself keep coming, but I don't believe that that's exactly right. I'm certainly not accusing you of being deceitful. It's more like low resolution. My suspicions is that there's a set of experiences that you've had that are characteristic to your own personal life that have caused you some bitterness and some resentment, and that those haven't been thought through. Usually thinking through means trying to take as much responsibility for altering the conditions under which those things happen going forward into the future as possible. Like, the purpose of memory is to stop you from doing the same stupid things in the future, right? If you've had experiences that have made you bitter and resentful, or are still engaged in experiences that are doing that, then you need to do a careful microanalysis of what those are and see if you can flip your attitude in some manner. I'm not saying this is easy, but the first thing you can do is at least figure out what those memories are. You can kind of tell if something needs work from a memory perspective if it occurred more than about 18 months ago, and when you remember it, it still causes like a wave of sadness or anger. Waves of contempt for existence itself keep coming. Waves of contempt for existence itself keep coming. There's a part of me that rebels in riding these waves. But can I hide it's never good. Waves of contempt for existence itself keep coming. What that means is that your brain is still targeting that experience as threatening and unexplored. And what that means is that in some sense part of you, or a part of you that could exist, is still stuck in that memory. Because you can go back and do a careful causal analysis of the events that led up to the unfortunate circumstance. Try to map out your role. Even if your role is minor, there's going to be things that you could have done differently to avoid it, and that's what you need to figure out for the future. I would say you try to shed all your personal resentment. Part of that too is to not take things too personally. There's nothing personal about the fact that terrible things happen to you, I mean, unless you're directly causally involved. As it says, I believe in the Old Testament, rains on the just and the unjust alike. The tragedy and difficulty and even the confrontation with evil are built into the structure of existence, and it's not aimed at you personally. It may be the price that we pay for existence itself. you could say, well, that price is too high to pay. But if you start thinking that way, then you make everything much, much worse. Waves of contempt for existence itself keep coming. Waves of contempt for existence itself keep coming. There's a part of me that rebels in writing these waves, but kinda hard it's never good. Waves of contempt for existence itself keep coming. It seems better. Shoulder your cross voluntarily and stumble forward towards the light. That's the best strategy, and just because it's the best strategy doesn't even necessarily mean that it's always going to work. Like, this is no optimistic scenario. Like a dragon is no optimistic scenario. Confront the dragon, get the gold, bring it back to share with the community. And, you know, that sounds all well and good, but after all, it is a dragon, and many people get eaten by them. The myth basically says, well, your best bet is to open your eyes and speak the truth and look forward forthrightly and confront the hydras that are raising their heads and their tentacles constantly to frighten you and stop you, and to fight the tyranny of the social structure when it's oppressing you unduly. And that's what you have to do. But I would say if that contempt is there, man, that's really worth digging into. That would be the place where you would discover the Jungian shadow, because you would discover that contempt is an unbelievably destructive force. Contempt is a particularly destructive force. It would be useful for you to try to think about, you can use fantasy to do this. It's like, okay, if you let that contempt manifest itself fully in like a dream or a daydream, and then you let it go on a rampage, what's the vision exactly? I mean, is it the destruction of the town? Is it the destruction of the country? Do you want the entire world to blow up? Waves of contempt for existence itself keep coming. Waves of contempt for existence itself keep coming. There's a part of me that rebels in writing these waves, but kinda hard it's never good. Waves of contempt for existence itself keep coming. Or there's specific people that you're angry at, or maybe you're angry at yourself. Those waves of contempt are unarticulated elements of experience, and they're part of your shadow. So, can you harness them for good? Well, the more you understand your dark urges, more likely you are to be able to regulate and control them and to use them as part of your power. A person who has authority is someone who's integrated the dangerous parts of themselves, and that's part of what gives their words gravitas and weight. And so, yes, I think you could harness them for good. And I think that's the right thing to do, but it will involve a fair bit of painful soul searching.
Amazing! Make some noise. Waves of Contempt, featuring Jordan B. Peterson, just like every single one of these songs. We're doing an all Jbpwave special set. We're doing these every Monday in the run-up to the new Jbpwave album. By Jove, we are! And in typically serendipitous fashion, just as I'm working on the first Jbpwave record since the last one, which came out just before he went away, he hath returned. And that is very epic. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. David Trujillo, what's cracking, babies? Thank you for the support. Says JP is back. Says he finished the Bible series videos. Turn it up some so we can send the wave. Whatever Alec Moran says, to whoever needs to hear this, you are loved. Stay strong. We are here to listen, not judge. The world is better with you in it. That's real. The world is better with you in it. And the world with you operating at 100% you is as it should be. So get after it. Someone was saying, when are the white hoodies going to be back in stock? White MEANINGWAVE hoodies are in stock. Go to meaningwave.com and go to the classic collection. Navigate to the classic collection, MEANINGWAVE Classics. You can find a white hoodie, by Jove.
You gotta be oriented towards something.
You can wear it.
You're disoriented. You just spin around in circles.
Or you clean up your room.
And so do people around you. It's not a good solution.
That's right, Infinite Slayer.
Or something. You have to figure out what it is. What will work for you?
God bless. Shouts out to everybody lots in. Make some noise for yourselves.
Would justify the suffering of your life. Start trying to piece that together. You're going to get better at it. But it's a personal process. So you need a personal place to stand, because otherwise you're going to be handed a place to stand on a plate. And it may be one that makes you a puppet of someone else's goals. So I would say, you know, what are the processes? Well, I think what I've recommended to people is clean up your room. 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 That's a good start. Organize your local landscape. Schedule your time. Start taking control of yourself. See if you can stop saying things you know to be lies. That's not the same as telling the truth. You don't get to do that to begin with, because you're not good enough at it to even attempt it in some sense. But everyone can stop saying things they know to be falsehoods. Stop saying things that violate your conscience. Here's another idea. Stop saying and doing things that make you feel weak. Because all you have to do is pay attention to that. Some things you do will make you feel disintegrated. It's a physiological sensation. Some things improve your integrity and some things disintegrate you. Now, the things that disintegrate you, you often do to impress other people. Or because you're taking a shortcut, or you're escaping what you know to be your moral obligation. And your moral obligation stems naturally from your aims. And if you don't have an aim, well then, you're aimless. So that's not a solution. So along with the aims come the moral obligations. Then when you violate the moral obligations, you'll have a sense of that violation. It's like, well, you have to stop doing that. Or that's something you could do. You don't have to. You don't have to do any of this. But I would say that's where people should start. You start small. Clean up your room.
Hey,
Clean up your room.
next Thursday, like soon.
Clean up your room.
What now?
Clean up your room. I had a girl come up to me last night. She said, I started cleaning up my room and it completely changed my life. She said, your room is an externalization of your mind. And that's right. That's exactly true. To the degree that you're in your room, the
room is you.
Now that isn't how people think. That's okay. It doesn't matter if they think that way. That's how it is. So straighten up what you can straighten up and quit saying things that make you feel weak. And then you'll know what to do next. Clean up your room. Clean up your room. Clean up your room. Clean up your room. Clean up your room.
Hey,
Clean up your room.
and they say,
Clean up your room.
welcome to the MEANINGWAVE Autonomous Zone. I'm Akira the
Your
Dog.
room.
It's old Jbpwave. Every Monday,
Clean up your room.
leading up to the release of the new Akira the Don and Jordan B. Peterson album, which I gotta say is the best one yet, of course.
Your room.
Of course, the song I did today was crazy. You can see a little preview of that on my Instagram. And I think it's on my Twitter as well. A little preview of that thing. I found like the perfect arpeggio, baby. I was so happy. You ever be looking for an arpeggio, you know? And you find that thing, you're like, oh! Very, very joyful. Shouts out to everybody locked in. What up, Nathaniel Gamma? What up, NT Photo Lounge? What up, Kayla Sherrod? What up, Infamous Slayer? Shouts out to the whole crew. We here every night. 7 CT. We on Twitch every morning doing that party time, fun time, joy time, whoop. All that. We drop new music every Friday. We just dropped the new album, MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces, featuring mighty Canadians like Norm Macdonald. Who else is on that thing? Jim Morrison's on that thing. Charlie Chaplin's on that thing. John Vivaki's on that thing. Terence McKenna's on that thing. Marilyn Monroe's on that thing. Epic activities only in 2020. You already know. Work outward. What? What? That's right, Patrick Smith.
My sense is that if you want to change the world, you start from yourself and
work outward. Aye. Work outward. Aye. Work outward.
My sense is that if you want to change the world, you start from yourself and
work outward. Aye. Work outward. Aye. Aye. Work outward. Bucko.
Because you build your competence that way. It's like, I don't know how you can go out and protest the structure of the entire economic system if you can't keep your room organized.
You gotta get after it. Yeah, isn't that an issue with people though, that they always want to enact some sort of control over the outside world when their inside is all fucked up?
My sense is that if you want to change the world, you start from yourself and
work outward. Aye. Work outward. Aye. Aye. Work outward. Fuck off.
My sense is that if you want to change the world, you start from yourself and
work outward.
Akira.
Work outward.
Yeah.
Work outward. I think there's some truth in that. I think there is truth in that. I mean, people try to change the outside world for lots of ways, but many of those ways aren't just pure good. I was trying to produce something that was a counterposition to this idea that what you should do is go out and fix up other people. You know, that's just right. My sense is that if you want to change the world, you start from yourself and
work outward. Aye. Work outward. Aye. Work outward. Aye.
My sense is that if you want to change the world, you start from yourself and
work outward. Work outward. Work outward.
And there's a New Testament line about that, something about, you know, not worrying too much about the speck in your neighbor's eye when you have a log in your eye. Yes, no kidding.
Yes, no kidding. Yes, no kidding. Yes, 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 no kidding. Yes, no kidding. Yes, no kidding. Yes, 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 no kidding.
Is that if you want to change the world, you start from yourself and
work outward. Work outward. Work outward. Fuck off.
My sense is that if you want to change the world, you start from yourself and
work outward. Hey! Work outward. Hey! Work outward. Whoa. MAC makes choice. I want to see all them wave emojis in the chat right now. If you are fully aware that the best and also easiest and most efficient way to save the world, so-called save the world, is to save yourself, baby. Put yourself in beautiful order, get yourself maximized at maximum you. Maximum you, 100% you. That's the one thing that no one else can do. Is that 100% you, baby. You get 100% you. Shit, we don't even know what the upper limits of that are.
The next question.
Do you have problems in your life that you're not addressing that you could solve?
What? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Okay.
Do you have problems in your life that you're not addressing that you could solve?
Huh?
An answer is yes.
I think it is. An answer is yes.
And it's an easy thing to figure out. You sit on your bed one morning and say, okay, there's some things that need to be done that I don't want to do, that I could do, that would make things better by the end of the day. What are they? Your conscience will deliver those suckers no time flat now. And then
yourself into doing a few of those if you ask, instead of trying to force yourself to do it like you're a tyrant and a slave at the same time. You can usually negotiate with yourself so that you'll start to sort those things out. Sort them out. Put your house in order. And then move on. Move on. Move on. Do you have problems in your life that you're not addressing that you could solve? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Do you have problems in your life that you're not addressing that you could solve? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Hey! You have a practice domain. There are things that are within your grasp that you can fix. That you can fix.
Yeah.
Fix them. And you'll learn. It will make you grow very, very rapidly, and then you'll be able to sort out more complex problems without making them worse.
Move on. Move on. Move on. Move on. MEANINGWAVE Autonomous Zone. Make some noise for yourselves. What up, Infamous Slayer says I gotta say, you held me 100 times over. I've been struggling with discipline and depression from the pandemic. Your music helps remind me of all those talks I've listened to by JBP.
You gotta get after it.
Get after it.
Buckle.
Boom shakalaka!
You gotta remember. Yo, that was the sneeze of power. That was the sneeze of righteousness. Shouts out to that sneeze, baby. By Jove. You gotta remember, you know, I learned this shit off a TV show when I was a little kid. Yo, we didn't have a TV in my house, you know, but I used to go see my auntie. She had a TV, and it was a TV show I really liked. It was about Prince. He was called Adam, right? But sometimes when he needed to get shit sorted out, he would just pull out his sword and he would say, you know, and then he would get after it. And that's just the facts, Jack. You have the power. You know? When you look out through your eyes, baby, them shit, they deceive you. The kingdom of heaven is within. Speaking of which, here's a little story in the form of some songs. What is called a suite. It's called a suite back in the day when people used to put real care and attention into albums. I mean, I still do. I don't know about what everyone else is doing. Sometimes they'd make a suite. That's when you got a section of little songs and they all fit together and tell one big story, baby. Or one medium-sized story. This is one of those things, baby. This is called Noah. A story in 4 parts. What up, though? What up, Christopher Voss? What up, Cindy Bailey?
The sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth.
Aye.
And Ham is the father of Canaan. These are the 3 sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said,
Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, blessed shall be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years, and all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. I remember thinking about this story. It's got to be 30 years ago. I think the meaning of the story stood out for me. When you read complicated material, sometimes a piece of it will stand out. It's like it glitters. That might be one way of thinking about it. You're in sync with it and you can understand what it means. And I think I understood what this part of the story of Noah meant. What nakedness meant in the story of Adam and Eve. To know yourself naked is to become aware of your vulnerability, your physical boundaries in time and space, and your fundamental physiological insufficiencies as they might be judged by others. There's biological insufficiency that's sort of built into you because you're a fragile, mortal, vulnerable, half-insane creature. That's just an existential truth. And so to become aware of your nakedness is to become self-conscious. That's what is revealed to Ham when he comes across his father naked. And so the question is, what does it mean to see your father naked? And especially in an inappropriate manner like this, it's as if Ham, he's insufficiently respectful of his father. And the question is exactly, what does the father represent? And you can say, well, there's the father that you have, and that's a human being, that's a man like other men. But then there's the father as such, and that's the spirit of the father. And insofar as you have a father, you have both at the same time. You have the personal father that's a man among other men, just like anyone else's father. But insofar as that man is your father, that means that he's something different than just another person. And what he is the incarnation of the spirit of the father. And to see that, disrespect that carelessly. Noah makes a mistake, right? He produces wine and gets himself drunk. Say, well, if he's sprawled out there for everyone to see, it's hardly Ham's fault if he stumbles across him. But the book is laying out a danger. The danger is that maybe you catch your father at his most vulnerable moment, and if you're disrespectful, then you transgress against the spirit of the father. And if you transgress against the spirit of the father and lose respect for the spirit of the father, then that is likely to transform you into a slave.
Into a slave. Yo! MAC makes some noise for the spirit of the father!
That's a very interesting idea.
Hey!
It's particularly germane, I think, to our current cultural situation. We're pushed constantly to see the nakedness of our father, so to speak, because of the intense criticism that's directed towards our culture, the patriarchal culture, so to speak. We're constantly exposing its weaknesses and vulnerabilities and, let's say, nakedness. There's nothing wrong with criticism, but the thing about criticism is the purpose of criticism is to separate the wheat from the chaff. It's not to burn everything to the ground. Right? It's to say, well, we're going to carefully look at this. We're going to carefully differentiate. We're going to keep what's good and we're going to move away from what's bad. But the point of the criticism isn't to identify everything as bad. It's to separate what's good from what's bad so that you can retain what's good and move towards it. Retain what's good and move towards it. So that you can retain what's good and move towards it. Retain what's good and move towards it. And to be careless careless at that is deadly, because you're inhabited by the spirit of the Father, right? Insofar as your cultural construction, to be disrespectful towards that means to undermine the very structure that makes you all of what you are, certainly a good portion of what you are. If you pull the foundation out from underneath that, well, what do you have left? You can hardly manage on your own. It's just not possible. You're a cultural creation. You're a cultural creation. Retain what's good and move towards it. Retain what's good and move towards it. So that you can retain what's good and move towards it. 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 So that you can retain what's good and move towards it. Retain what's good and move towards it.
Yeah! That was part 3 of Noah. This is part 4. The sweet Noah.
And so
Nothing to do with respect.
makes this desperate error and is careless about exposing himself to the vulnerability of his father, or something like that. He does it without sufficient respect. And the judgment is that not only will he be a slave, but so will all of his descendants. And he's contrasted with the other 2 sons who, I suppose, are willing to give their father the benefit of the doubt, something like that. And so when they see him in a compromising position, they handle it with respect and don't capitalize on it. And maybe that makes them strong. That's what it seems to me. And so I think that's what that story means. It has something to do with respect.
Something to do with respect. Something to do with respect.
Something to do with respect. You know, and the funny thing about having respect for your culture, and I suppose that's partly why I'm doing the biblical stories, is because they're part of my culture. They're part of our culture, perhaps, but they're certainly part of my culture. And it seems to me that it's worthwhile to treat that with respect, to see what you can glean from it. And not kick it when it's down, let's say.
Right.
It has something to do with respect.
Something to do with respect. It was something to do with respect.
Something to do with respect. It has something to do with respect.
Something to do with respect. It was something to do with respect.
Something
to do with respect.
And so that's how the story of Noah ends. The thing too is Noah is actually a pretty decent incarnation of the spirit of the Father.
That's right.
Which I suppose is one of the things that makes Ham's misstep more egregious. I mean, Noah just built an ark and got everybody through the flood, man, you know? It's not so bad, and so maybe the fact that he happened to drink too much wine one day wasn't enough to justify humiliating him. And you know, I don't think it's pushing the limits of symbolic interpretation to note on a daily basis that we're all contained in an ark. You could think about that as the ark that's been bequeathed to us by our forefathers. That's the tremendous infrastructure that we inhabit, that we take for granted, because it works so well. It protects us from things that we can't even imagine, and we don't have to imagine because we're so well protected.
Respect. Something to do with respect. It was something to do with respect. Something to do with respect. Something to do with respect. Ow! MEANINGWAVE on top of it, so makes noise for this arc. This beautiful arc that has held us for so very long, and we have taken for granted, and we really should not, because that shit could fall apart any second. And most of y'all would drown. Right, Joe? Anybody want to drown, baby? What up, Finnegan McBride says, I've been listening to you since you released Patrick. Your stuff gets better and better. Holy cow, baby. Holy cow, Finnegan McBride. That was Patrick. I released that in, what, 2004? So that's a long time. Thank you for being here.
If you're feeling heroic and you want to do something for the world, and you want to expand what you understand, you poke your head through what you know and you take a look at whatever structure is out there.
Awesome!
To me, this is a recreation of the Taoist yin-yang symbol. You know, with the white paisley here, and that's what you know, and the dark paisley serpents there, and the right place to be is right on the line between them. Got 1 foot where you understand, that gives you security, but it's kind of dull because, hey, you know everything that's going on there, and that isn't what people are like. They don't want just security. Dostoevsky said, I love this, you gave people everything they wanted. They had nothing to eat but cake, and nothing to do but sit in warm pools, busy themselves with the continuation of the species. The first thing they would do, well, maybe after the first week, was go kind of half insane and smash everything up just so that something that they didn't expect would happen, so that they'd have something interesting to do. And it's so right, because the utopian notion that if you just had all the material stuff you wanted, that you'd be... What would you be? What would you do? Well, what would you be? What would you do?
MAC!
What would you be?
What would you do?
Well, what would you be?
What would you do?
You just sit on the couch and watch TV? I mean, you'd be... I don't know what, you'd be cutting yourself just for entertainment in no time flat, you know, and that's the sort of thing that people do. So we're not adapted for security and utopia. We're adapted for a certain amount of security because, you know, we are vulnerable, but mostly we want to have 1 foot out where we don't know what the hell is going on, because that's where you're alert and alive and tense and with it. I believe this, and I believe it actually has something to do with the hemispheric structure of the physiology of your brain. The right hemisphere looks roughly adapted to what you don't know, and the left hemisphere is adapted to the world that you do know. And the right place for you to be is halfway between them. You can tell that. That's what's so cool. What would you be? What would you do? We're not adapted for security and utopia. Well, what would you be? What would you do? Mostly we want to have 1 foot out where we don't know what the hell is going on. What would you be? You want to be out there in the unknown enough so that you keep updating yourself. Well, what would you be? What would you do? That's where you're alert and alive. This tells you that this is actually reality that's manifesting itself to you. You know, that sense of active engagement you have in the world when things are working well for you, you know, where you should be at the right time. You're alert and on top of things and engaged, and you don't have much of a sense of time. And the sense of the tragedy of life sort of recedes. That's when you've got 1 foot where it's secure and 1 foot out in the unknown. And your brain signals to you that you're in the right place by making what you're doing meaningful. That sense of meaning is actually a neurophysiological signal that you've got the forces of the cosmos properly balanced in your being at that moment. And that's why it feels so good. And then, well, what else could it possibly be? What would you be? What would you do? We're not adapted for security and utopia. Well, what would you be? What would you do? Mostly we want to have 1 foot out where we don't know what the hell is going on. What would you be? You want to be out there in the unknown enough so that you keep updating yourself. well, what would you be? What would you do? That's where you're alert and alive. You know that because that's where you are when you're having a really interesting conversation with someone, or you're gripped by a book, or you're really into a movie, or maybe something that you do as apart from your work, or maybe even in your work, you're into it, and that's because you are in the right place at the right time, and your whole nervous system is signaling that to you. And I would say that's the sort of place that you should be all the time. So that's the recreation of paradise on earth. It's something like it. Because you are in the right place at the right time when that is happening.
What would you do? What would you do? What would you do? What would you do? MAC! What would you be? What would you do? Hey! What would you be? What would you do? Aye. What would you be? What would you do? What would you be? What would you do? What would you be? What would you do? Yo! MEANINGWAVE Autonomous Zone, make some noise for yourselves. And make some noise for the good Dr. Jordan B. Peterson! Yo! What would you be? What would you do? That was Jbpwave Live Chronicle Part 2. We're doing that every week on a Monday at 7 CT, going through the entire Jbpwave back catalog as we count down to the release of the new album, which is filming very, very soon, baby, very, very soon. We got the brand new Alan Watts album ready to drop as well. And we just had MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces drop on Friday by Joe. Yeah! Bless up. Thank you everyone who's been supporting. Thank you Infamous Slayer. Thank you Infamous Sway. La Duenas. Thank you Clumsy K. Says, I have not missed the chance to show love to JBP on his return. The dog set is it! That's real! Amazing. 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 We're here every day at 7 a.m. on Twitch, 7 p.m. right here on YouTube, doing epic stuff on the daily basis, on a basis of daily. And shoot. Before we head off into the night, I just want to play you something from the new album, MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces, from another Canadian. And I really love this song, and I kind of feel this is very much in the spirit of the good Doctor, you know? I think he'll like this. I think he's gonna like this one. Maybe he's heard it already, I'll check. Hey. This is from MEANINGWAVE Masterpieces 2, and Patrick Smith is very right when he says, Norm!
I find like, I have some beliefs that are too inflammatory to even discuss, unfortunately. Because there are certain things in society that you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly.
so I'll just never say them. And I'll just leave them in my little head.
Because
there are certain things in society you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly. And so I'll just never say them. And I'll just leave them in my little head. Yeah.
But mostly, I find all these things ridiculous. First of all, I hate that we force people into identifying themselves by little tiny... because we oppress people, we further oppress them by forcing them to identify themselves as what I consider less than human. If someone says, I am proud to be black, I go, that's too bad for that guy, because it's a retarded thing to be proud of. And we see it with white power. If someone says, I'm proud to be white, we see how ridiculous that sounds. But we don't see it when a person says, because they've been oppressed, I'm proud to be black. But it is ridiculous. We've pushed them into a corner where now they're going to spend their whole life identifying themselves by the pigment of their skin. What a sad waste of life. Or if you say, I'm proud to be gay, that's what I am, and that's how I'll live my life. Well, boy, you're really limiting yourself there, and it's too bad. And I know you've been forced into it by being pushed down and oppressed, but it's still very, very sad. And I don't think of myself as Canadian, and I think it's a terrible thing to say you're proud to be a Canadian or proud to be an American. All that stuff is nonsense. You may as well be proud to have lungs. You didn't accomplish nothing. You're just born somewhere. Or, you were just born with a skin that's a certain color. Or born with a sexual attraction to a certain type of person. That stuff's all... It's all just little miniature things in life that are so unimportant. And when people try to tell me that God is not important, but that this nonsense is important, I couldn't disagree more. Because there are certain things in society that you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly. And so I'll just never say them. And I'll just leave them in my little head. There are certain things in society that you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly. And so I'll just never say them. And I'll just leave them in my little head.
There are certain things in society you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly. And so I'll just never say them. And I'll just leave them in my little head. There are certain things in society you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly. And so I'll just never say them. And I'll just leave them in my little head. Yeah, certain things in society you're not allowed to believe or speak publicly. And you want to pay attention to those things. They're things worth paying attention to, boy Joe. Make some noise for yourselves. Make some noise for DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled's another one. Another one of those epic humans who, just like He-Man, has some very, 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 very powerful knowledge, keys, you could say. We the best! And that's real. They don't want you to be great. That's real. What do we say to they? Not today. We gonna be great regardless, baby. We're gonna go forth, we're gonna be mighty, we're gonna get after it. We're gonna play one more song. Yeah!
Get after it.
You gotta get after it.
FAC, stand up straight and make some noise. Another one.
I'm sorry. I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men, with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery. Fight for liberty! In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power, let us all unite! A decent world that will give men a chance to work, that will give you the future and old age of security.
in the Meaning Wave universe, featuring Shirley Chaplin. That is the final track from Meaning Wave Masterpieces 2. Out now on all streaming platforms. You can download it on Bandcamp. You can download it on iTunes, wherever you like downloading things. You can do that thing. The Meaning Wave Monolith, this thing that sits in the middle of my desk, this beautiful steel thing, is available for you to buy. Own the Meaning Wave Monolith. It's made in America by a real American, a steel artist and member of the Meaning Wave community. They're shipping now. People have already received them. I got a photo of someone today. I just showed that on the screen. They were very, very happy with their Meaning Wave Monolith. It's a beautiful thing. They're going now. The Alan Watts Wave vinyl is shipping this week. Also, the first one of those have gone out. They should be landing on doorsteps any moment, baby. It's an epic time to be a Meaning Wave fan, baby. A member of the Meaning Wave family. It's an epic time. Yes, it is. Shouts out and big thanks to everyone who's been supporting during this thing. Thank you, Infamous Slayer. Thank you, Suela Duenas. Thank you, Clumsy K and David True Gillo. Thank you, Alec Moran. Thank you, Freya Cat. God bless Michael Robars and Odd Men Gaming, and Prince Jabrikas XV, and the Walking Mall Poet and Adam. God bless you all. Walking Mall Poet says, I'm excited to watch JBP's video after the stream ends. Yeah, head on over. Go see your boy. Your boy's back. I told you. Don't you worry. Certain people have to go through certain things in order to do the things they're here to do. That's the tragedy of life, and it's the glory of life. It's the wonder of life. You know what I mean? That suffering is inevitable. What you gonna do with it? That's the question. What are you gonna do with that suffering? And that's down to you, baby, and that's what you're here for. You know, I got a little boy. He's 7. I know. I can't protect him from the horrors of the world, but I can equip him with the tools and the powers to deal with it. Deal whatever comes our way, you know? That's what we all gotta do, baby. We all got our part to play. We all got our light to shine in this beautiful cosmic tapestry. And I'm proud of each and every single one of you, because you out there being mighty, you getting after it. That's how you got here in the first place. You know what I mean? That's why you're here. Everyone goes, oh my God, oh my goodness, God bless. The chat is so beautiful and wholesome and amazing. I've never seen such a community. That's how it be. That's why you all here. Real recognize real. Birds of a flavor. They swoosh around in the sky making beautiful patterns. All as one. Patterning all over the place, baby. Well, this is the Meaning Wave universe. This is the Meaning Wave autonomous zone. We making patterns in the waves, baby. It's a beautiful time to be alive here at the peak of recorded human civilization. There ain't nowhere I would rather be than right here, right now with you. And we here every day, by Jove. Every day. 7 a.m. CT on Twitch going ham. 7 CT in the evening on YouTube getting after it. We'll be here tomorrow, by Jove. Yeah, we will. So thank you. If you want to support the wave, go to meaningwave.com, get yourself a Meaning Wave monolith. Or get a fine shirt like this one. It says, it's a beautiful day to be alive. That's a nice thing to say on a shirt. By Jove. That will bring joy and smiles to the faces of those who witness it. Yes, it will. You go to Spotify and follow the playlist. The big Jbpwave playlist is there for you. Official, like a referee's whistle. Get over there and follow that thing. Go to Bandcamp, download the music. Be excellent to one another. And let people know, baby. Let the people know the truth. It ain't a lie. It's the truth. The capital T truth. Meaning Wave exists! What? Yeah! Wow! Imagine that! You could have lived at any time, but you get to live in the time where Meaning Wave exists. How about that? What up, though? Infamous Slayer says you need to tour so we can all meet each other. Talk about plug. Yeah, you bet you, baby. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be beautiful. We're gonna take this show on the road, by Jove. And when we do, we will actually get to Area 51 this time. Yo! Let us all 5-5. 3, 2, 1. God bless, baby. Go forth, be mighty, make some beautiful babies. Mad Max Thrax, you bad man. Once again, thank you all for being here, and I'll see you very soon. Mwah.